legend, the one they call the Shoe. He won the hearts of many thousands and the knockers quite few. He rose to fame, fell his game, and the good times mostly few. Oh, the Shoe is a legend, he's everybody's friend. He's the toast of the band, the $5-10 man. And when he puts on the winner, he'll be proud they're all. Good on you, well, you beauty, and the Shoe's got...
Riding Melbourne Cup winner, mate, your age is never going to be a secret. You were 21 when you rode the Melbourne Cup winner, and it's coming up to 56 years ago. Does that scare you any?
No, well, it doesn't scare me. I've had my 5 minutes in the sun, so I'm entitled to get a bit older and settle down a bit. The plan was to go out and follow the favourite, Monte Carlo. And I think, like, back then there was 32 runners. It was the first year that they started from the mobile gates. And of course, this horse, Baystone, he had number 7, which never ever won a Melbourne Cup.
You weren't superstitious though, were you?
No, well, it doesn't pay to be superstitious at this game, I'll tell you.
And he drew gate 15, so that made your task a bit harder?
Yeah, it made it a bit harder, but of course, Ali's never worry good jockeys. You just jump out and 1,200 metre run or 6 furlong run down to the winning post the first time. You had all day to think about getting in, you know. So anyway, they jumped out, away they went. Monte Carlo got back running about 20th or something like that, and I just tucked in behind him, and Tomo worked his way over towards the running rail, and by the time we reached the first corner going out of the straight, we were a horse off the fence and running 20th or 21st, and we had about 10 runners or so behind us. The leaders were just starting to die a bit, and Tomo moved out a horse, and I just moved outside him. They straightened up. At the furlong, Tomo got to the front. I was only a neck behind him, and Tomo reached for a star because he was a tall bloke. And when he got up on him, he got that high in the air. I said, well, it's time to go. And I let Baystone go and give him a couple around the behind, just to get him running, you know. And he went straight past Monte Carlo.
At the 2 furlongs post, White Hills in front with Red Pine, Monte Carlo and Baystone challenging him strongly. Yeaman finishing fast but a long way back. Monte Carlo hits the front at the furlong with Baystone, and they're fighting the cup out from Red Pine. Baystone gets the head in front of Monte Carlo, Red Pine third, and then White Hills from Yeaman. But Baystone's finishing too well in the cup for Monte Carlo, and Baystone's going to win the Melbourne Cup from Monte Carlo.
So you let Tomo do most of the thinking and most of the work, and did you include him in the celebrations afterwards?
Tomo burst into tears after we went over the line because he'd been beaten on a ride, I think it was, and a couple of times he'd run in the placings, and he said, as we went over the line, started to pull up around the corner, he said, I never thought that old bastard had run 2 miles. The horse was 7 years old, and made him step out on the track cup day as if he was a 4-year-old.
And you got to experience coming back down that race in front of that crowd, even as we've seen there. Mate, what was that like?
Well, there's no other race that I know of. It was that you get such a thrill out of winning. And, just a little bit.
Got it clear, mate?
Anything with the stop?
Might be 50 odd years ago, mate, but it seems like yesterday.
It's such a great race to win. Coming back down the road, 100,000 people, and everybody cheering for the winner, you know.
21 You were just 21 at that time, mate. Did you party hard after the Cup?
Funny thing. I'll never forget it. We had to go to Worth Circus and collect the whip and christen the pony. They used to have a Shetland pony, and you'd christen it the same name as the winner of the Cup, you know. And we went there, but by the time we got back to the hotel, to Scott's Hotel, the cooks had gone off, and I think we finished up eating hot pies, you know. So I said, if I ever happen to win another one, I'll have dinner before I go.
That was one of 2,500 wins of Mr Schumacher's 50-year racing career, which was not without its controversy. He was banned from the sport for life for grabbing the leg of another jockey during a race at Randwick in 1961.
You've got the cameras and everything today. It's not like it was back then, when we had no cameras and 28 runners, and you could nearly do what you liked, you know. Depended on how game you were.
Melville Lionel Schumacher was as game as they come. In front of a Randwick crowd of 80,000, he was riding for his life on a horse called Blue Era in the 1961 AJC Derby.
Foul ride though it was, that's the greatest ride I've ever seen, Mel Schumacher and Blue Era. Schumacher was able to get this horse past the post first. He grabbed hold of the other jockey's leg, not only doing that at speed, 40, 50 mile an hour, but was able to literally pull him back. Then, while he was getting balanced, he'd give his horse a couple with a whip and grab hold of him again.
You couldn't say nothing. He went as wide as a sheet. He went wider than my shirt.
Mel Schumacher had become the first and perhaps the most infamous victim of the new patrol footage technology. The head-on shot cameraman had only just managed to get the camera working as they turned for home. The steward's room screening was something of a surprise.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe they had one. It was just one of those things. You see bike riders do it, you see runners do it, and this time it just happened to be on film.
Schumacher was disqualified for life.
There was a magnificent picture used in the Herald the next day of him walking out all by himself. I mean, a successful jockey had usually at that time had 2 or 3 helpers, but Mel Schumacher, the little boy who'd been disqualified for life, was walked out with these 2 heavy bags on his own. It's a great picture.
Well, when you're down, no bastard wants to know you. It's when you're down, nobody wants to know you. When you're up, everybody wants to know you. So, with about 70 yards to go, I just put my hand out and I locked him up. I never actually grabbed him. I locked him up with my wrist and I just held him there. And about 2 strides from the post, I just give Blue Air a couple of backhanders. He put his head out right on the line. And of course he got the photo, didn't he?
He got the photo, and barring the first time ever a head-on film, you would have got the race. But Ray Murray takes that video around, and you've done quite a few with him. And is he fair dinkum that he says that he wouldn't have upheld that protest?
Well, Brad, I did a few dinners with Ray, and he shows the film, and he said to me, you know, if I'd have been chief stop at that meeting, you could have counted protest. You'd have never lost the race. So, you know.
So when he says counter protest, I assume he means he probably would have got you for the, blocking his leg. But the other horse, what we didn't see there is that before that he started about 6 wide and he's finished alongside.
But yeah, the other horse came over towards me, but I wasn't bloody smart enough at the time. I should have said, oh well, I thought he was going to run me through the fence or something. So I put my hand out to stop him. But that never entered my head at the time. So
but you're only 2 strides off winning the Derby.
It's all right. 53 years later thinking about it, isn't it?
One of the first blokes to get you on your way out was Darby Munro. Now, tell us what he said to you.
Brad, I was walking out the room and Darby just walked up to me and said, "Look, son," he said, "don't worry about it. They give me 2 lots of life, so they'll let you back." I went home and it took me a few days for it to sink in, you know, and I thought, oh, well, we'll appeal against it. And we appealed and they break it down to 10 years. Well, 10 years in a jockey's life, it's as good as life anyway, because I finished up, I went home and I worked in the markets in Brisbane, the fruit markets, you know. And after about 5.5 years or 5 3/4 years, they let me back.
But you'd earned that much respect that even though when you come back, I think on the first day, Tommy Hill, who was the jockey there, who turned to training, and Darby Munro, legged you up. They wanted you on their horses.
And he's going to be far too good for them. It's a great display out in front by Shoemaker.
And he came bouncing back into the winner's circle. My friend, I tip my hat to the shoe who's a legend. He's everybody's friend. He's the toast of the battle, the $5-10 man. And when he moves home the winner, he'll be proudly roar. Good on you, Mel, you beauty, and the shoe's got one more. Good on you, Mel, you beauty, and the shoe's got one more.
It was a magnificent career.
Yes, it was. Certainly was. I finished up, I rode over 2,500 winners out of about, I think it was around about 12,000 rides.
But you teared up here tonight when you talked about coming back in the Melbourne Cup, and I think I read somewhere that winning the Melbourne Cup still remains your number one moment.
Yes, it is. It is. I get goosebumps every time I think about it. Or when they jump out of the gate on the first Tuesday in November, I get a bit teary.
Ladies and gentlemen, please thank Mel Schumacher.